Hi there, it's Lori, and I'm here with a Battle of the Stitches tutorial on the turtle stitch. I figured green was good for the turtle, right? Hopefully this blue background is going to make it easier to see. I will zoom it in when I'm editing the video. So we're going to start with a slip knot, and much to my chagrin, this needs to be done with chains because they're skipped chains. Now, I am going to mention at some point during this month, I will show what Ian is a weirdo figured out, how you can actually do a foundation row with skipped stitches. But because I'm on this new medication and it's making me a little, well, not myself, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So we're going to change. Let's try that again. Chain a multiple of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to keep doing that. Let's do 3 sets. 1. This is chaining. Okay. It says multiple 6 stitches plus 4 plus 3 for the foundation. So we've done our 6s. Now let's do 4. And then 3 more. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and try to do back bumps because they look nicer. It says to, so this chain 3 that we just did is actually the double crochet at the end. So those 3 stitches will count as a double crochet. So what it's going to say is 2 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook, because these 3 are going to count as a double crochet. That is kind of dark, isn't it? I'm sorry. Well, hopefully when I zoom in it looks good. If not, I'll re-record and I'll use a brighter color. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3 in the 4th. Yarn over. I'm going in the back bump. Grab that. Pull up a loop. Yarn over. Pull through 2. Yarn over. Pull through 2. And we're going to do a total of 3. So we have our chain 3, which is counting as a double crochet, and then 2 more. Okay. Then we're going to skip 2 chains. 1, 2. And into this 3rd one, we're going to do a single crochet. Notice I didn't chain any. I'm just skipping chains. Okay. Now we're going to skip 2. And is it 2 or 3? Hold on. Yeah, 2. And then let me read the words too. I'm still learning the charts, but okay. And then we're going to do 5 double crochets in this one. So we skipped 2 chains. We're going to do 5 double crochets, and I'm using a really big hook. This is only a 4-weight yarn, and then this is a 9mm hook. You don't have to do that. I just find it easier to show on tutorials with bigger. You're not going to get it as lacy looking like that, which generally you would, this is kind of a denser stitch, so you wouldn't necessarily want it as lacy as mine is going to look. Okay, so there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we're not going to chain, but we're going to skip 2 chains and do a single. All right, and then skip 2, and into the 3rd back bump, we're going to go 5 double crochets, which is yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 5 into the same stitch. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Think of that as your turtle shell there. Skip 2, single crochet, Notice, again, we're not chaining between here, and it kind of bunches up a little bit. So you can kind of see that arc of the turtle shape. Am I one short? I must have been a chain short. Well, do as I say, not as I do. Actually, I can fix it. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Okay, so if this ever happens to you, so skip 2, time for 5 double crochets. So yarn over, pull through. Try not to make these too tight. I do that sometimes when I have a bunch of stitches in the same stitch. I can make my stitches a little tighter. I don't know why I do that, but I have observed that that is a tendency of mine. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so notice I only have 2 here. So we're going to cheat a little since it needs to be a single crochet and I need to skip 2. We're going to use this tail. Let's see, can I do it? No, I need to go in here. That's what I need to do. Sorry. What I'm going to do is add a foundation single crochet here. So I'm going in this stitch here, but we're not going to crochet in there. Well, not technically. Oops. Okay, so we're going to yarn over and pull through 1. That creates our extra chain. Now, have I skipped 2? Kind of. Is that how you do it? Well, it at least looks like I skipped 2 now. So you yarn over once to create a chain. That doesn't look right at all. Okay. There's the chain. Because that one's coming across there. I don't know if there's any way for me to fix that. That's all right. It's all right. It's not the end of the world. Kind of has that going on right here, so it's all right. So I made a foundation single crochet, which is you pull through 1 to create the chain, and then you pull through to make your single crochet. Then the instructions say to chain 3, and that's going to count as a double crochet. Well, I don't love to chain 3 as my double crochet, so I'm going to chain 1, and into this single crochet I'm going to make a stacked single crochet as my double. So yarn over, pull through there. There you go. That's what my phone thinks. And you can go through the leg or you can split through. I'm going to go through the leg on this one. And yarn over, pull through 2. So that's like 2 singles stacked on each other. And now do 2 regular, am I actually in the single? Yeah. 2 regular double crochets here. So we have a total of 3 double crochets on the end. Okay, because what we just did was the foundation. Foundation's always just a little bit different. So we're going to skip to the middle. So we're skipping. We're skipping 3. One, 2. Okay, so we're skipping to the 3rd one. Oops. And we need to do a single crochet in the top of that shell. And again, I'm not pulling tight on purpose. Otherwise, it will get way too tight. All right. And then we're going to yarn over, and in this single, we're going to go 5 double crochets. And bring it up to the height of the others. If you don't like the stacked double, just chain 3 and then do 2 more double crochets in that single crochet from the row below. the end. You should always end on a single crochet, and you should always start with a chain 3 and 2 double crochets, or a stacked double or stacked single and 3, so 2 double crochets, so a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, and into, oops, that's not a double crochet. In the center of the turtle, we want to go and do a single in the center of that shell. Like I said, now you can see it's kind of dense. There's not much gap because we're not doing any kind of chain spaces or anything like that. So in the singles, we're going to do 5 double crochets. Sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I go into the third one here, single crochet. Into this single, we're going to do 5 doubles. US terms, I should say that. These would be trebles in UK terms. Yeah, so I think I skipped one extra that I shouldn't have there. Okay, so right here in the top of the chain 3, I believe that's right there, we're going to place a single. Just yarn over and pull through those 2. Okay, and then we would chain 3 and turn, but again, the stacked, I do it chain 1, turn into that single, then do a single, and then take a leg of that single, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the 2 to give you the stacked double. And then if you want, again, you can just chain 3 there. It counts as your triple, or your double crochet, I'm sorry. All right, and then you would continue on. You always start with a cluster of 3, and then in the middle double crochet, you put a single, and you get to the singles, and you do 5 doubles. Or 4. Okay, and then in the middle, single, middle of the shell, and then over in the single, do 5, and we'll end on this row just so you can see what it looks like. I was actually surprised how dense this fabric is when you crochet it up. I was expecting it to be a little lacier. It is not. It is not an open stitch. And again, I'm using a 9mm. You would expect it to be super open. So if you're using like what this yarn would call for, probably a 5.5 or a 6, it's going to be, so sorry, very packed down. This would potentially be a good baby blanket stitch because of that, if you don't use a big old huge hook. Oh, I'm not using a 9mm, I'm using a 5mm, so no wonder it's packed down. Okay, I'm sorry. This is not a big hook. This is a 5mm hook. That's why it's very dense. So if you wanted it lacier, go with a bigger hook than your yarn calls for. Okay, so again, in the top, in the middle one of the shell, middle double crochet of the shell, that's where you put your single, and then you go over to your single and you do your 5 double crochets. So that's why I do the linked, sorry, the stacked double, because it makes it very clear where that last stitch is. And so I don't have to finagle it around like I do with a chain. So that's why I do it. Okay, I'm going to chain 1, pull that out. So this is a 5mm hook. Looks pretty good. You can see it makes a nice fabric. I'm letting it focus. Makes a nice fabric. And next week you will get a sneak peek of the project I am making, not with this yarn. And then in 2 weeks I will do a tutorial on the project I'm making. So there's your turtle stitch. That's 3 rows. Sorry, my camera does that. Sometimes it won't focus properly. Get my hands out of there and it'll do it. I am so sorry I told you I was using a 9mm when I was only using a 5mm. Not the same. So that's what it looks like, how dense it is when you're using, and I have very loose tension. So those of you who do not have loose tension, this would even be a denser fabric with the size hook that your yarn calls for. All right, that's the turtle stitch. Go check out the other tutorials, see if other ways of people explaining it, like Critters Crochet, Heather's Strings and Threads, Heather, and Frog. Is it Froggy or Frog? Let me look. I think it's Frog Went Knitting. F.R.O.G. But let me double check that. Yeah. F.R.O.G. Crochet. Me, Lori's Stories and Crochet. We're the visitors, I guess we'll call it. And then you'll get to vote between week 3 and week 4. I apologize. I'm not sure if that vote is on Critters Crochet, Teresa's channel, or on Strings and Threads, Heather's channel. But either way, it's a very nice, dense stitch, not difficult at all. It is, in my brain, it's a little strange that you start with, have the 3 cluster start and the single finish. It's not weird that you finish with the single, but I guess that the 3 is a half of a shell, huh? I figured it out. Never mind. Just kidding. All right. Thank you so much for coming in. Can I get an amen? And hugs to you all.